glitch, that is the video is not playing. So I'm comfortable. I think we are in the right space. Oh, there we
Over
are.
120 million people are displaced due to conflict, violence, and persecution. Almost half are children dreaming of safety and peace. That's why Rotary is committed to addressing the underlying causes of conflict with solutions for sustainable peace. We are people of action. We share a passion for improving communities and creating lasting change. For decades, we've partnered with experts at our Rotary Peace Centers to train global peace builders. From preparing business leaders in conflict-affected areas to building inclusive economies and empowering women and youth. Rotary creates environments where peace can happen. When people live free of violence and in a society that values all voices, everyone can flourish. Learn more, find your cause, and take action at Rotary.org.
Great. So we are on the dot, 4 p.m. So let's just start. Good afternoon to those in South Asia and good day to all from the rest of the world. Thank you for joining in. My name is Sanjay Parmar. My team of Major Gift officers and I represent the Rotary Foundation team at the South Asia office. Today, the globe faces a series of interlocking challenges that are manifesting in violent conflicts around the globe. Yet, we usually refuse to accept conflict as a way of life and therefore do not prepare for it as we should till it is upon us. But Rotary bucks this trend. In fact, in Rotary, February is specifically designated as Peace Building and Conflict Prevention Month, as most of you Rotarians know. This topic is more than one of our area of focus. Peace building is central to our work as a humanitarian organization. By carrying out service projects and supporting peace fellowships and scholarships, our members take action to address the underlying causes of conflict, including poverty, discrimination, ethnic tension, lack of access to education, and unequal distribution of resources. So please make use of the Q&A tab on your screen to ask your questions. You may like to avoid using the chat box for this purpose, as there usually are several other comments, including greetings, that may overshadow the questions in the chat box. So without much ado, let me hand over the session to our Endowment and Major Gift Advisor for Zone 5, past Governor Arul Jyoti Karthikeyan, to take this webinar forward. Over to you, Karthi.
Naren sir, if you may please unmute Karthikeyan sir. He has joined in the name of Rabi, my colleague, Mr. Rabi Bose. If you may please unmute.
Yeah, I'm just doing that because I'm just searching for you.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe घर के क्या? हाँ?
कर दिया कहिए आप कुछ मत करो
अरे
ये टेंशन सब हटाओ
Karthikeyan sir, you shall be able to unmute yourself now. Yes.
Please unmute yourself, sir.
रवि को कोविड बनाने के उसका ये कर दो तो बना दे तेरा आज तो
unmute yourself, Karthik.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Karthi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Sorry for the inconvenience. Good evening, everybody. Very warm welcome to all distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and participants. It is indeed a privilege to convene this peace webinar the purpose of which is to highlight the vision, impact, and future direction of the Rotary Peace Centers, while reaffirming the Rotary's steadfast and enduring commitment to the advancement of sustainable peace across the globe. As the Rotary continues to expand and deepen its global peace building initiatives, we gather not only to recognize the profound contribution of our established peace centers, but also to commemorate a significant milestone, the launch of newly established Rotary Peace Center in India. This historic development further strengthens the Rotary's presence in Asia and reinforces our dedication to nurturing peace leaders region where their service is most vital. Today's session brings together distinguished leaders, respected scholars, and committed peace advocates whose expertise and experience are shaping the future of global peace building. Their insights and contributions will undoubtedly enrich our collective understanding and inspiring meaningful action. This webinar is designed to inform, engage, and foster stronger collaboration among the stakeholders as we advance Rotary enduring mission of building sustainable peace worldwide. Thank you for your presence and your continued commitment to this noble cause. Thank you. Thank you so much. The next, I would like to introduce our speaker of the next the session, our trustee Bharat Pandya. I will give you a short introduction about his profile. Bharatji belongs to District 314041. He contributed over 2 million to the Rotary Foundation during his government district, making it to the top contributor worldwide in 2006 and 7. The trust areas like water conservation projects, Bharatji has held many roles in regional level, Rotary international assignments. He served as a Rotary trustee vice chair in 2023 and 24. He also has received the Service Above Self Award, the Rotary Foundation Citation, Editorial Service, and Rotary Foundation Distinguished Service Award. And he's a really very, very good motivator and very good storyteller. We are all blessed to have our trustee Bharatji in our midst. Thank you so much, Ji, for joining in this meeting.
Thank you, EMGA Karthikeyan, for that kind introduction. And good evening to everybody, and welcome to this seminar on peace and conflict resolution. You know, what is unique about the Rotary's peace program is that Rotary thought about, developed, and implemented a peace building efforts more than 25 years ago, long before it became de rigueur for other organizations to look at and incorporate peace building as part of their process. Rotary's commitment to peace makes its program very unique because it is a two-pronged approach towards peace. One is focus on our communities to create conditions favorable to peace by focusing on healthcare, water and sanitation, literacy, environment, and an approach, holistic approach to what we call as positive peace. Because in Rotary, we believe that peace is not just absence of war, but it is about the quality of life. And in Rotary, we work to improve the quality of life in our communities and communities around the world. And one of the biggest assets of Rotary is its presence of Rotary clubs and Rotarians in almost all communities across the world. This is a unique advantage which Rotary has over many other organizations. And of course, the second prong of Rotary's approach is the Rotary Peace Centers and Peace Scholars Program. By supporting emerging leaders, empowering them in conflict resolution and sustainable development, Rotary is able to create impact at the local level and at the global level too. In fact, Rotary's peace building efforts is steeped in our history. If we look closely, our founder, Paul Harris, started with a very, very simple idea of promoting friendship amongst one another and the spirit of mutual cooperation and understanding. Two conditions which are very important to develop peace. So Rotary's commitment to peace probably is as old as the existence of Rotary. The mission of Rotary Peace Centers is to promote world peace by educating, engaging, and empowering peace builders through academic training, field experience, and global networking opportunities. As you may be aware, Rotary's peace centers today span across 8 countries: Australia, England, India, Japan, Turkey, Sweden, Uganda, and USA. And every year, Rotary offers up to 170 fully funded scholarships, both for a master's degree, 2 years course, and a peace building certificate course. Today, the level of global conflict has created a huge crisis with over 70 million refugees in the world. In fact, the economic impact of violence on the global economy in 2024 was estimated to be $19.97 trillion in PPP, purchasing power parity, which comes to $2,455 per person. Rotary's Peace Center are an important initiative and an important step in promoting global peace. Through this program, fellows develop the skills they need to serve as leaders and, more importantly, to serve as catalysts for conflict resolution, peace in their local communities and around the globe. This program is designed for mid-career professionals who have worked or are working in international relations, human relations, community service, conflict resolution, and who are committed to working for peace. Fellows go on to serve leadership roles. Fellows go on to serve leadership roles in government, non-government organizations, academic and research institutions, peacekeeping and law enforcement agencies, and organizations like UN, WHO, UNESCO, World Bank, and many others. In fact, Rotary's focus on its peace-building efforts can be summed up in 4 C's: clear and credible communication, change of mindset, collaboration and compromise, and consistency in action. We believe that peace cannot be achieved at one stroke, but peace can definitely be achieved one step at a time, one Rotarian at a time, one peace scholar, one club, one district, one institution, multiplied many times over. And just recently, we celebrated the signing ceremony and inauguration of the Rotary Peace Center at Symbiosis University in Pune. It was held at the lush green serene campus spread over 400 acres of the Symbiosis International University, friends. The event reflected the shared values, the vision and mission, and the approach to peace building between Symbiosis and Rotary. In fact, the motto of Symbiosis is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. This motto ties up and is reflected very well in Rotary's motto of service above self. And both the organizations believe in working with a spirit of caring and sharing. In fact, the presence at this Peace Center inauguration, in India, we have 42 districts, and out of that, Rotarians from 23 districts were present at this Peace Center inauguration. That reflects the commitment of Rotarians and Rotary in India to work for this Peace Center. The districts 31, 41, and 31, 31, which are co-hosts for this Rotary Peace Center, have a strong Rotary presence with more than 250 vibrant, effective clubs and more than 10,000 Rotarians who are eager to help the Peace Scholars and also eager to serve as host counselors for this program. I'm sure that this collaboration, which is a natural collaboration between Symbiosis and Rotary, is going to go a long way in allowing us to deliver a strong, content-rich, effective Peace Scholars program to help make our world a better place to live in, friends. Many years back, it was Arch Klum who once said that if we build churches, temples, and mosques, they will crumble into ruins. If we build monuments, time will deface them. But if we work with minds of the people and imbue in them a sense of responsibility, a sense of service, cooperation, understanding, integrity, and peace, then we are doing something that will last an eternity and will be in existence as long as mankind exists. I think the focus of the Rotary's Peace Program is to create a local impact, but also a global impact through this change of mindset, and thus helping us through the Peace Scholars to create a ripple effect in our society and in our community. I believe that this new Peace Center represents an opportunity to aspiring people in our region to enroll for this Rotary Peace Scholars program. And let me tell you that this application for the 27th batch is now open and is going to be open till 15th May. But this Peace Center at Symbiosis also represents an opportunity to have a more peaceful, equitable, and just world in India and in Asia. I believe that this collaboration between Symbiosis and Rotary is going to be a harbinger of many more things to come to allow Rotary to continue its work in peace building and conflict resolution. Thank you. And I thank all of you who have supported the Rotary Peace Centers in some way or the other, including our generous donors. I am known that many of you have generously donated to the Rotary Peace Centers program. Thank you, all of you. Without your generosity, without your support, this would not have been possible. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your very good address. And you have it can be informed that it is in a golden era, our trustee Bharat ji's period. You have surpassed all the records and you have made a significant change in the foundation, and you have motivated all the districts in India, the zone 4, 5, 6, and 7. And all the governors are motivated by your very good stories and motivation and encouragement. And a lot of new ideas and new projects are coming up. And it is one of the unique projects that our Peace Center, in the hand of our Bharat ji's represents, we have opened it. So we are all proud of you, sir. The program, it comes our TR of Peace, Conflict, and Resolution as an area of focus. It will be done by our PDJ Alison Sutherland. So I'll give a short introduction about Alison. Alison is a past district governor. Currently serves her district as a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chair, Rotary Peace Fellowship Subcommittee Chair, and Scholarship Subcommittee Chair. She is a very active board member and technical officer of Rotary Action Group of Peace, and she is the TRF cadre member since 2022. I call upon Alison Sutherland of TRF cadre member to present your topic, peace and conflict resolution, as an area of focus. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Well, as has already been said, it's a huge privilege to be with you, and I recognize the austere company in which I am, so thank you. So peace was, as has been said, an integral part of the formation of Rotary, with the wording promoting goodwill and understanding. And it's played a part in the shaping of the UN Declaration of Human Rights and the formation of UNESCO, and therefore took a major step in 1990 with the formation of Rotary Peace Centers. Rotary Peace Fellows are viewed as being the creme de la creme of peace building within Rotary, and rightly so. There's a great competition for the many places available. But peace building is not the only responsibility for Peace Fellows. It's also the responsibility of all Rotarians. There's been a significant growth in the number of Rotarians joining the Rotary Action Group for Peace, and there are now around over 800 global Rotary Action Group for Peace Peace Builder clubs and 21 chapters. We also have a chapter headed up by Smita in Pune in India, and the latest chapter is headed up by Mufat in Turkey. So Rotarians are becoming better placed not only to put forward candidates for the Peace Fellowships, but to support them and to be involved in the projects of Peace Fellows. Rotarians are becoming more engaged in training opportunities and peace projects. Not only is there an increase in number of Rotarians becoming more engaged in peace, but in 1995, the Rotary International Cadre of Technical Advisors was formed. And the cadre today has members, over 500 members. Unfortunately, the PCP, Peace and Conflict Prevention cadre, are the smallest in number. Nonetheless, each cadre member is experienced in their particular area of focus, but more so, they're experienced in assisting in the design and preparation of Rotary Foundation global grants. Cadre can not only be of assistance to Rotarians within clubs and districts, but also to Peace Fellows. They can help them navigate the Rotary grant process. They can assist in connecting Peace Fellows to fellow cadre, or to Rotarians wishing to support particular projects. A number of cadre have been trained in coaching and assisting in programs of scale, but logically, every global grant has the prospect of scaling, perhaps not to the 2.5 million annual program scale grant awarded by Rotary, but perhaps insisting a club follow up one global grant with another, whilst helping them with the theory of change and the monitoring and recording of the outcomes and impact of the grants. Rotary International is wanting the 8 pillars of positive peace incorporated into all global grants, irrespective of their area of focus. Not a surprise when looking through the pillars. They're in fact the ideal structure for all projects. Cadre members will be key resources in making this change. To date, the cadre has been underutilized. Efforts are being made to correct this. Cadre do not act as police officers, but as technical support officers. They're available to all. The cadre and Peace Fellows have distinct roles in the Rotary peace process. Rotary International are being very strategic in building a structure of peace builders, from grassroots Rotarians to the pinnacle of Peace Fellows. As with all things, it's teamwork. Whilst Peace Fellows are not Rotarians when they're selected to become part of the peace process, they do have an important role within Rotary. Peace Fellows should not just go through the peace centres and then disappear from sight or memory. Rotarians have a duty of care. Peace Fellows have the opportunity to make a big impact on Rotary clubs and districts through engagements with clubs and districts, thus helping to bring peace to clubs and their communities. Rotarians not only have the duty of care, and Peace Fellows have the opportunity to contribute to the work of peace building in Rotary. Therefore, Rotarians and Peace Fellows should seek every opportunity to explore opportunities for collaboration, promoting goodwill, peace, and understanding. and partnering for peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Alison, for your wonderful address that you have made, and you have also insisted the importance of the peace building and the roles and responsibility of the Rotarians. And after coming from the Peace Center, and what would be the role of Rotarians in the districts and in the club. Thank you for your very good address. Next, I would like to call upon Alpha, Associate Professor Alpha, to talk about Rotary Peace Centers. One of the monument and a new chapter begins. So I would like to introduce Alpha.
Hello, everyone. This is Alper Ecevit from Turkey. I'm the director of Otto and Van Walder Rotary Peace Center at Bahçeşehir University in Istanbul, Turkey. And I would like to say hi to all of you and thank you for this wonderful meeting. And we are so excited for the opening of the new center in South Asia. Um, well, of course, we have started the setup process almost 2 years ago, but this dream becomes a reality when the fellows are on campus, which was the case in February 2025 when 13 fellows arrived to our campus for completing their 10 weeks intensive uh, training process on peace and development studies. So, um, just to give a little bit brief information about the structure of the program, after this 10 weeks of training, intensive training process on campus, accompanied with 4 field trips and several community engagement activities, then the fellows go back to their home country and conduct the social change initiative project, which is the major output of the training program. And we are very happy to announce, but 2 weeks ago today, we were just celebrating the first alumni of the center at Bahçeşehir University. So we held our first capstone conference week 2 weeks ago, and the fellows, the first cohort fellows, returned to our university for the second time and presented their work, and also had a chance to meet the new cohort, as we call it, cohort number 3. Currently, we are into the end of the 4th week of the cohort 3 training program. And yesterday we came back from the field trip to the capital city of Turkey, Ankara. So let me just talk about the content of the training a little bit and how we think we can support the Rotary's mission service about self and service towards the peace building. So, of course, we are so lucky and we have been very honored to host this peace center here in Turkey. So this was thanks to the local Rotarians, of course, commitment to host this center in Turkey, which has become a global hub for many international communities, and especially the regional issues, along with the regional political leaders. And Turkey's growing importance in the region helps us to connect the people that can cooperate for peace activities across the MENA region. Our center has region specifics, and it is focusing on community-related peace building projects in the MENA region. Of course, MENA region is not an easy region, has never been and will never be so. So there are lots of potentials for conflict which is shaped by structural and cultural differences and inequalities. But we believe that this communities in the MENA region also proposes a lot of opportunities for increasing the knowledge on different skills that are necessary for creating peaceful environments, including dialogue, including negotiation, mediation, and interfaith dialogue. So these are all important issues where MENA region offers a lot of opportunities for us to learn from the MENA region and apply it elsewhere in the world, while also applying different tools, new innovative methods to create solutions for conflicts in the MENA region. So, with this goal in mind, we are an academic institution supporting Rotary's efforts. And in here, Bahçeşehir University is a foundation university in Turkey, and it is supported by its local branches across the country in various cities, as well as its partnership with UNITAR Turkey, meaning United Nations Institute for Teaching and Training and Research. And in partnership with the United Nations, we have created the curriculum and built a roster of instructors that are experts on the topic that could be interest to the Peace Fellows. Of course, from the very beginning, I have always mentioned in my speech, and I'm going to repeat it here, that this is a transformative process for all of us. When I say all of us, I mean our student community at BAU, our fellows, of course, who have received the fellowship to come and do their peace building efforts, our university in terms of how to approach conflicts proactively, our university administration in terms of managing a grand project with so many wonderful stakeholders, and also for us who are involved in the Peace Center to learn from the experiences of incoming fellows. So if this Peace Center wouldn't cause transformation, it would have been meaningless. So we're very open to the idea that we will learn a lot and we will be implementing what we learn for the future projects to be more impactful. And therefore, we started this program a year ago, almost a year ago, and we have added 4 field trips into our program that are connected with the teams of the training program. We have traveled to Ankara, the capital city of Turkey, to meet and learn from the government officials, international NGOs, academics, and local NGOs who have been involved with state funding and international funding. Then we have also visited with the first cohort Northern Cyprus, where one of the interesting cases of frozen conflict is out there in Cyprus between Turkey, actually including many parties, including Turkey, Greece, Cyprus, Northern Cyprus, and the United Kingdom. So it's an interesting island, a divided one with a frozen conflict. So we had the privilege to visit this island with our fellows, meeting locally important politicians and activists, as long as international organizations. We also have visited northern Turkey, where the hazelnut production is one of the it's a leading region for hazelnut production in the world, and we have just tried to focus on the sustainable agricultural efforts in that particular region. And last but not least, we have visited southern Turkey for understanding the disaster management in the post-earthquake era after the major earthquake in 2023, and also the international NGOs who have been involved with refugee protection and integration. So, thanks to our complicated region and thanks to our complicated times, Turkey, thanks it's owing to its geostrategic position, can be a platform for discussing and investigating these types of efforts and issues. So, all of these trips have contributed to our understanding of the themes that we're interested in and hopefully have helped cohort 1 and other cohorts to observe on the ground and therefore would learn from the people who have been affected or who have been effective in finding resolutions to these serious problems of the world. And of course, it was a challenging process for us to come to an end with the first cohort, given the fact that we as the center uh, were expecting, we didn't know what to expect from the fellows in terms of the profile, in terms of the outcome of the training that we are offering, and their needs. And thanks to their feedback, we have been modifying the program according to the practical needs of the MENA region and fellows who are coming from various places now. For example, on campus now we have fellows from China, Trinidad, Tobago, Brazil, United States, Somalia, Sudan, and so on. So you can imagine the diversity we are hosting at BAU, which helps both the fellows and us to enhance our knowledge. I have been, and for fellows to complete their social change initiatives, we assign them to a mentor and preferably one of the instructors of the program, but not necessarily so. So we are also open to bring in mentors that will be the best contributors to their social change initiatives. So if a fellow comes with a suggestion for working with a different mentor, we are open to collaborate as long as it fits to our goals and objectives. And of course, our major partner here is the Turkish Rotarians, who are on the ground and who have been very helpful as host area coordination committee. We meet regularly. Uh, Even the fellows are not on campus. We meet when, especially for review and future planning purposes. And we have been invited along with our fellows to their club events several times. And
Professor
when we,
Alper,
yes,
can we wind up because we
sure,
are
yes,
overshooting? Thank you. Thank you so much.
of course. And they have been very helpful for us in our field trips and also in accommodating social needs of the fellows. Last point I want to raise, we also enjoy interacting with other center directors once a year during the annual selection committee, which will also take place again in the United States this September, where we come together, learn from our experiences, and collaborate when necessary. So thank you for giving this opportunity for me to speak out, and thank you for the meeting.
Thank you, Alfer, for your wonderful experience that you have shared. That 2 years ago, how this Peace Center is being initiated and how it has been handled, 13 fellows, peace fellows, how the field trips and the social change projects, involvement of the peace building, and MENA region, the transformation of the MENA region as because of the peace scholars. All everything that and the Turkey Rotarians who were supporting the project peace and in the other areas. So we are so happy to hear all the very good stories and experiences that what you have handled the diversity of the people by the BAU Thank you, Taiku, and thank you, Alba. Convey our wishes to you, to your team, and BAU professors and all the faculties who is handling the diversity or diversified people all over the world in the as a peace in a peace center. Thank you so much for your participation. Next comes our Dr. Sulakshana Sen is the center head of the Rotary Peace Center at Symbiosis in this International University and a senior faculty member at the Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts, SSLA, Pune, with a doctoral degree in history and master's degree in international relations and strategy studies. I welcome you, madam, to discuss about the topic Rotary Peace Centers, one year of the momentum and the new chapter begins. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Karthikeyan, for the kind introduction and the invitation to speak. As you mentioned, it is a new chapter, very new chapter. We just, our inauguration happened as Mr. Pandya, Dr. Pandya mentioned earlier this year on January 26, 2027, and a new chapter began. And the inauguration of the Peace Center at Symbiosis International University, the date of the inauguration, that is 26 January 2026, is actually a very profoundly special day. Because it was the 77th Republic Day of India. It was also the 55th Foundation Day of India, which was founded as has already been said before on the motto of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. And with the inauguration of the Rotary Peace Center at Symbiosis International University on this particular day, it becomes all the more significant, and it became all the more significant because there were certain shared core values, be it service to society, be it respect for diversity, or be it a commitment to education. Now, Rotary and Symbiosis actually have a long-standing relationship of more than half a century. So whether it's Rotary gifting dialysis units to our hospital at Symbiosis, which offers free treatment and therefore is able to give free treatment in dialysis to the neighboring villages. Rotary Symbiosis has adopted almost more than 35 villages surrounding its campus in Lovely. But the culmination of Rotary and Symbiosis together in the Rotary Peace Center at Symbiosis International University actually brings the legacies of both these institutions together. Because while for Rotary, it is service before self, and for Symbiosis, it is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Dr. Bharat Pandya also mentioned that the peace centers exist and look at educating, engaging, and empowering peace builders. And very interestingly, the vision of Symbiosis is promoting peace through quality education, promoting international peace through quality education. In fact, it is the only one of its kind universities opened in India for the promotion of peace way back in 1971. This will be a fully funded postgraduate diploma program, very similar to the one that Professor Alper just mentioned that is run at Turkey. But the focus in this case will be Asia. Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, the rest of Asia. What is exciting about this is that it will be engaging with peace fellows who are mid-career professionals. The impact that these mid-career professionals, and I'm sure you will hear the past peace fellows speak, and we had the session, them speaking at our inauguration as well, the impact that the professionals or mid-career professionals have on the systems and processes that they are already working within becomes extremely important, because as we all know, change, or the first change that needs to happen, always happens from within. You need to do a very intensive needs-based analysis. It has to be a grounded approach to understand what is the context, what is the need, why are things and systems the way they are, to be able to bring that change. And therefore, because it's for mid-career professionals, this becomes all the more exciting for us, that we will be able to see the impact that these peace fellows have on the communities that they are working in, staying in, living in, translate into action much, much sooner than otherwise. The importance of Asia is undoubtedly a very, very crucial space at this point in time. Because if you look at what Asia has been through. I mean, as of 2026, Asia is home to almost 60% of the world's population. It has the highest density of population, whether it's in South Asia or whether it's in East Asia. And therefore, whether we're looking at population, whether we are looking at demographics, it is definitely an area that requires our attention. When we're looking at Asia in terms of the economics of the region, at present, it is one of the fastest growing regions in the world, undoubtedly. But Asia is also the continent which has actually experienced the one of the longest histories of a colonial past. And therefore, the economics of the region becomes extremely, extremely important because the economies of Asia are also very different. There are some advanced economies, there are some not so advanced economies in terms of wealth and income. We find that there's a definite divide between the rural and the urban population. There is a definite disparity in income also within the urban population. There are challenges in terms of food security, in terms of security for safety, basic human dignity, which we kind of tend to take for granted. And the challenges also are furthered by the fact that Asia also has the highest religious diversity. We also have the highest ethno-linguistic diversity. In terms of climate, Asia is at present the only continent which is probably undergoing continent warming twice at the global average. And this has led to intensifying of cyclones, flooding, drought, water scarcity, and which has also kind of led to a host of migratory migration, has seen a lot of migration happening. Of course, I'm not saying that the migration is only due to climate, but migration also has a lot of other push factors. It could be economic in nature. It could be because it's become a very politically sensitive conflict zone. It could be anything. But the net result is that systems are now straining to kind of meet the requirements. It's not just about these people. If you have to think in terms of psychology, then what is it that is going through their minds? If you have to think in terms of the narratives that the media is kind of building up or creating, the positives and the negatives. But in order to make this social change also, or to bring about the social change initiative, which is a mandatory part of the certificate programs, a certain amount of design thinking is needed. So therefore, when we are looking at the academic program at Symbiosis International University for the Rotary Peace Center, we are looking at it from a multidisciplinary perspective because conflict is never simple. Conflict is always very, very complex with multiple factors leading to what is conflict. And therefore, the candidates can be from various backgrounds, whether they're government or non-government, whether they're from education or research institutions, whether they're from law enforcement agencies, from international agencies, and so on and so forth. And for our academic program, which is very similar to all the other, because it's a Rotary academic program that we are offering, it will be offered in a blended format where there will be online sessions before the cohorts come in on site for about 3 months. There will be a social change initiative that they have to undertake once the on-site element is over, and then they come back for their capstone project. And during the on-site program, we will be taking them for 2 field trips. One will be within India, and we're looking at a country either in South Asia or Southeast Asia, depending on what the situation is like, because as we can see, the turbulent political situations that happen, and while we want them to study conflict, we would not like to take them into conflict, so to say. But apart from this, the fellows over the weekends will also be engaging with the Symbiosis, with SCOPE. SCOPE is the Symbiosis community outreach program and extension that was established way back in 2012. We have health initiatives, in fact, a mobile health initiative where we believe in health for all. We actually take the health services to the doorstep. We also provide various non-health services also. So whether it's in literacy programs, whether it is in financial literacy programs, whether it is in adult literacy programs, foundational numeracy, whether it's in legal literacy, digital literacy. So they will be engaging with the already existing programs that Symbiosis kind of undertakes. And it's extremely an exciting time for us. And we look forward to welcoming the cohort in January 2027. Because while we have been offering different programs and courses in sustainability and development studies and peace and conflict studies, nonetheless, this is the first time that we will be offering a degree in peace and development studies to fellows who are already working in spaces where they can bring in immediate action and change. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, madam, for your very good explanation about the symbiosis and the importance of the peace. The Rotary and the Symbiosis University relationship between both the organization over 50 years. It was a very welcoming one. And we are also very happy that 35 villages is being supported by the Rotary in and around the area. And mid-career professional and this role. And the Asia's 60% of the population in the worldwide, how it is being migrated, a lot of problems they are facing, and what is the role of the peace fellows in that areas. It was very interesting to hear from you. I thank Symbiosis University for the support to the Rotary and Rotary program, the Peace Scholar, and supporting the Rotary motto, service above self. Thank you so much, Dr. Sulekshana Madam. And I thank all the professors of Symbiosis University for supporting this program. Thank you so much. Next, it comes our ex-IAS officer and Rotary Peace alumni, Mr. Rajiv Jalota. He's going to speak about the topic. Have a small introduction of Rajiv Jalota. Rajiv Jalota is a distinguished Indian Administrative Service IAS officer with over 35 years of leadership in public administration. Academically, Rajiv is a Rotary World Peace Fellow and holds master degree in international development policy from Duke University, USA. Now the session is yours, sir, and he's going to talk about the leadership, governance, and peace lesson from the public service. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Arjun. A very good afternoon to all our Rotarians, Rotary Peace Fellows, alums, scholars, and all advocates of peace joining us online. Respected Trustee Dr. Bharat Pandya, TRF cadre member Alison Sutherland, former Trustee Gulam Vahanwati, Professor Yuxil Elper, and Dr. Sulakshana Sen. A big thank you for inviting me. It's a real privilege to speak to this august audience today. Whenever I think of Rotary, I think of one phrase that sounds simple but is very demanding to live: service above self. In public service, that motto is put to a daily test. I served in the Indian Administrative Service from 1988 to 2024, largely in Maharashtra. Over those decades, I learned two clear things. Peace is not only the absence of conflict, but peace is also presence of trust. Trust that institutions will be fair, trust that they will listen, trust that they will respond, and trust that the system will treat you with dignity. The second thing is integrity is the foundation of legitimate authority. An important lesson that is simple and non-negotiable. Integrity is not a personal virtue alone. It is institutional peace. In public life, citizens watch closely. If they feel the system is corrupt or biased, they withdraw trust. And when trust collapses, conflict grows, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. I tried to live a principled life in civil service, of high standards of honesty, transparency, and fairness. Not because it is easy, sometimes it is costly, but because legitimacy is everything in governance. You can implement reforms only when people believe you are doing it for the public good. Now, early midway in my career, I was posted as district collector in the district of Latur. And during that period, I was selected as a Rotary World Peace Fellow. I went to Duke University studied international development policy at the Sanford School of Public Policy, and had deep exposure to peace and conflict resolution ideas through the Duke and UNC Rotary Peace Center. Before Duke, I believed that if you are honest and efficient, good governance will automatically follow. Rotary Fellowship experience at Duke changed my lens, not by making me less administrative, but by making me more people centric and more conscious of dignity. After Duke, I started asking myself one question before almost every important decision. If I were the citizen affected by this, how would I experience it? That one question reduced friction in many situations. It created cooperation, and in a quiet way, it built peace. Let me share a few lessons from my public service through real examples that connect leadership, governance, and peace. It was, in a sense, peace building in practice. First lesson: dignity and consent matter more than we admit. One of the most difficult responsibilities for me in government was land acquisition. If it's handled poorly, it creates resentment that lasts for years, sometimes decades. In my work with Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, we had to acquire land for industrial development. And I learned something important. The most sustainable approach is informed and voluntary consent, transparent valuation, clear communication, genuine listening, and respect for local concerns. When people feel respected, they may still disagree, but they don't feel humiliated. And when people don't feel humiliated, conflict doesn't accumulate. We acquired more than 10,000 hectares for industries without any grudge from citizens. So, in a very practical sense, consent based governance is peace building. Second lesson: in a crisis, people remember your fairness. Crises reveal what government truly is. During earthquake rehabilitation, I saw that people need more than relief and reconstruction. They need reassurance that state sees them, values them. They need to believe the system has not abandoned us, and it will not abandon us when the headlines move on. Rehabilitation is not only engineering, it is restoring livelihoods, dignity, and trust. Years later, during COVID, I was involved in the coordination and control room systems, where minutes mattered, but empathy mattered too. And in those days, people were afraid of hospital beds, oxygen, livelihoods, and uncertainty of all kinds. In such moments, governance becomes a form of peacekeeping. You need speed, yes, but you also need clarity and, of course, fairness. Because when people believe the administration is sincere and access is being handled fairly, society remains calmer, even in fear. So I often say, good administration in crisis is conflict prevention. Third lesson: systems create peace when they reduce discretion and uncertainty. After the Rotary Peace Fellowship, I became convinced of something. Many conflicts don't begin with ideology, they begin with daily frustration. Opaque procedures, discretionary decisions, avoidable delays, and the feeling of being powerless. So I started focusing more and more on systems that are predictable, transparent, and time bound. For example, the property tax reform in the megapolis of Mumbai, not glamorous, but deeply linked to trust. If taxation feels arbitrary, it becomes resentment. If it is rule based and transparent, people may not love paying it, but they accept its legitimacy. And legitimacy reduces friction. We introduced the first capital value based property taxation system in Mumbai. Another example was the GST rollout. GST was a massive national transition. For many smaller businesses, it felt like uncertainty and threat. Implementation required not just enforcement, but hand-holding, predictable guidance, and respectful communication. When change is managed with empathy, it reduces fear. And then in the maritime sector, I was instrumental in advancing a port community system, which was later rechristened as the National Logistics Portal Marine. Many people see that as a technology platform. I see it as peace infrastructure. Because when systems are digitized well, they reduce discretion, reduce rent seeking, reduce delays, and reduce the daily stress that citizens and businesses experience. Transparency builds trust, and trust builds stability. A thread that runs through all of this is serving the underserved. Across assignments, I tried to prioritize the basics. For example, water and sanitation for the underserved and calamity impacted communities. Because the absence of basic services is not just a developmental problem, it becomes a dignity problem and eventually a social stability problem. This may seem like a development topic, but it is also a peace topic because when a family struggles daily for clean water, when sanitation is unsafe, and when preventable illnesses become normal, society carries a quiet form of conflict. Delivering basic services is dignity, and dignity is the soil in which peace grows at the most fundamental level. Some people ask me, how do ports relate to peace? Ports are ecosystems, jobs, logistics hubs, commerce, tourism, and global connectivity. When port
Rajivji, Rajivji, 2 minutes, last 2 minutes. Yeah.
So I'll just shift to what Rotary Peace Fellowship added to my public service. Rotary
Yeah.
Peace Fellowship didn't only teach conflict resolution tools, it shaped my mindset. It taught me that peace is sustained by institutions that work, that leadership must combine moral courage and human understanding, and that public service must be judged not only by output, but by the dignity in the process. After Duke, I tried to practice public service through a peace lens, listen before deciding, and communicate with dignity. In short, I tried in public service and beyond, aiming for peace and harmony through my committed efforts. Let me close with three reflections. First, leadership is not about authority, it is about reducing fear, fear of injustice, fear for being unheard, and fear of the system. Second, good governance is conflict prevention. And when systems are predictable and fair, society becomes more calmer. And third is peace is built in ordinary places, in a land negotiation, in a tax office, or in a crisis control room, in whether a business can operate without uncertainty. And a message to all Rotarians, we already know service. Peace work asks for more layer, service that builds trust in the community. Rotarians, investment in peace building is invaluable, and its impact is visible through the work of Rotary Peace Fellows. Please keep investing. I am deeply grateful to Rotary for the Peace Fellowship that shaped my worldview, and I remain committed to the Rotary's purpose because service above self is not only a motto, it is a lifelong discipline. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful experience as an alumni of Rotary Peace Center and how the transformation has changed in your profession at critical times and how the peace as a peace fellow, your experience with the people when they are rude and when they are so emotion, how it controls and how it is being transformed. So that thanks for your very good experience that you have shared with us, so that we can feel how what the transformation, what you got it from the Duke University as the Rotary Peace Fellow. Thank you so much, sir, for your sharing your history, the story, and the experiences with us. Thank you so much. Next is in a panel. Next is in a panel discussion. Our the moderator is our past trustee Gulamji, and the panelists are Dr. Scofa John and John Lee, Professor Keshu Daswani, PDG Suresh Hari. So I just given a small introduction about our moderator, Gulam Vahanwati. He's an alumnus of St. Mary's High School and Xavier's College, Mumbai, MBA from IIM Kolkata. On the graduation in 1970, was invited to join Tata Administrative Service. Unfortunately, due to his father's falling health, Gulam had to leave TAS in 1974 and take over the reins of family business. As a district governor, he united district leaders, presidents of all Rotary clubs by motivating message, working together works. The bonding resulted in a record contribution of TRF in District 3140, a US dollar 6.54 lakh, 6.54 thousand US dollar, largest contribution by any Rotary districts in India till 2006 and 7. There was an equal big game changer, a Jan Seva Abhiyan or railway station adoption project. It was a very good project done by Gulamji. A Rotary club across the district adopted railway stations and made it a mission to ease local rail communicating. This was a unified success which resulted in very positive PR for Rotary. In acknowledgement of his leadership and commitment, he has been, among other international appointments, training leader twice, Regional Rotary Foundation coordinator 2004
The
and
time for the
2007.
panel is necessary.
Okay, sir. Okay. And a proficient rider of childhood horse, and he was a very good motivator for the foundation. Thank you for joining us, and I request our moderator, past trustee Gulamji, to handle the session and the panel discussion panel discussion on topic from fellowship to field, real world peace building experiences. Welcome, Gulamji.
Thank you very much, Karthik. Appreciate your. Is that working? Is that the video working well? Okay, thank you. So again, thank you, Past Governor Karthik, for that introduction. And good day to all Rotarians, Peace Fellows, partners, guests, and staff joining us from across the Rotary world. Let me just digress a little bit and speak to you about my good friend, Mr. Rajiv Jalota, who just spoke right now. I've known Rajiv ji for a very, very long time. And I can tell you without hesitation, he truly embodies the highest spirits of service with integrity. And in all the areas that he has worked with, Rajiv ji or Mr. Jalota has been exceptionally successful as a very senior IAS officer. Thank you, Rajiv ji, for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, peace building is no longer confined to negotiation tables alone. It lives in our courts, classrooms, communities, and increasingly in digital spaces. Through its peace centers and peace fellowship program, Rotary has invested in creating a global network of scholar practitioners working at the front lines of conflict prevention and transformation. Today's panel brings together diverse lenses: field mediation and digital peace building, gender justice and technology, legal education and academia, and Rotary leadership and philanthropic stewardship. Our aim in the next 30 minutes is to explore how Rotary's peace centers translate learning into action, how districts and donors can amplify impact, and how peace building must evolve to stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. Let me briefly introduce our 4 panel members, and I will start with Dr. Sofka John, who is a scholar practitioner in mediation, digital peace building, and conflict transformation. A Rotary Peace Fellow from Makerere University, he serves as the acting director of the Center for Mediation in Africa at the University of Pretoria, and is a research policy fellow with the Social Science Research Council. His work spans court-mandated mediation systems and peace-building initiatives across Africa. Welcome, Dr. John Sofka John. May I then introduce to you Jenna Lee Strugnell. Jenna, have I got Strugnell right, or is it Strugnell? I got it right. Okay, thank you.
You got it right. Thank you.
Jenna Lee Strugnell holds advanced degrees in psychology and peace building and is a recent Rotary Peace Fellow from BAU Istanbul. She is also Canon Collins Scholar and Impact Investment Fellow. She is the director of Tales of Turning, an organization that uses technology and storytelling to prevent gender-based violence and advance peace building. Next, I would be very happy to introduce Professor Kishu Daswani, who completed his Peace Studies certification at Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, and then taught at Chula till our association with Chula ended. Professor Daswani now teaches at the Government Law College, University of Mumbai, and also at St. Xavier's College, which is my alma mater. So, Professor Daswani, I'm very happy that you are there. And your work bridges legal education, conflict resolution, and youth engagement in peace initiatives. And finally, but in no way less than any of the others, is my good friend, past District Governor Suresh Hari, who is a Rotarian from Bangalore and is deeply committed to Rotary's peace program and has played a significant role in fundraising and endowment support for Rotary Peace Centers, strengthening Rotary's long-term peace-building capacity. So let me begin with a very quick reflection question from all our panelists, and I need just 20-second responses from each of you, please. And the question is, in one sentence, what does peace in action mean to you? Let me begin by Dr. Sofka John.
Thank you very much. Peace in action for me means consistently choosing the behaviors and the attitudes and decision-making processes that reduce harm and build relational trust on a daily basis.
Thank you. Generally,
for me, the Peace Fellowship is peace in action with people from really diverse contexts, belief systems, life experience, coming together, living together, learning to deeply listen to each other, understand each other, and find common ground.
Thank you. Professor Daswani? Go ahead, please. You're not muted. Are you mute? No.
He's muted.
Oh, just unmute yourself. Okay, let me go to Hari, and then may I request Naren to please ensure that his mic works. Suresh
Yeah.
Hari.
Thank you. It's a wonderful thought process. Peace in action is implementing what we believe, turning Rotary ideals of service, understanding, and goodwill into measurable community impact.
Thank you. Professor Daswani, are you able to now?
I think I'm audible. Yeah. So, to my mind, peace does not mean passivity. It means interrupting injustice without mirroring the injustice, disarming evil without destroying the evildoer, finding a third way, which is not to fight nor flight, but it's an arduous pursuit of justice and reconciliation. And I would like to say peace is not only hard work, it is hard work. You have to work from it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was very well put. Thank you. So I'm now going to go to the questions for our panelists, and I'm making one departure from what I have seen in other panels, is that we ask questions by rotation. Well, I'm not going to ask questions by rotation because we framed our questions as one complete area of focus for each individual. So we're going to ask the questions all together for each individual. Complete is the whole process of his answers and the proper train of thought, and then move on to the next panelist. And I'm going to remind all our very, very distinguished panel members that you have 6 to 7 minutes for all the questions that I will ask you. Okay, let me begin by first segment with Dr. Sofka John, and this is the fellowship experience and field impact. Dr. John, from your perspective, how has the Rotary Peace Fellowship evolved in addressing today's complex global conflicts?
Thank you. The fellowship, as I experienced it at Makerere University, has significantly evolved towards a more applied and systems-based approach to the kinds of messy and increasingly converging crises that we experience in the world today. And I think some of the earlier speakers have alluded to this. And the fellowship emphasizes institutional and community resilience and helps fellows to effectively connect peace, development, governance, social inequality, climate pressures, and other issues. It does this not only in the classroom, but also through extensive field experience, local collaboration, and exchanges amongst the fellows themselves. So it trains leaders to navigate these complex systems and uncertainties effectively, and to help strengthen communities and systems such that fellows can support the reduction in the fundamental conditions that give rise to the conflicts that we are addressing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John. And so let me continue that train of thought and ask you a follow-up question on that. What motivated you personally to engage with Rotary's peace initiatives, and how has that journey shaped your professional work?
I was motivated by my work, or through my work with Mediators Beyond Borders International, MBBI, particularly working along Martin Scott, who has a very deep commitment to Rotary and the Peace Fellowship. So he always spoke about the practical value of the fellowship and encouraged me to apply. But also working with him and others to train and coach Peace Fellows on mediation and conflict transformation made me to begin to see the fellowship as a meaningful opportunity to pause, to reflect, and to consolidate my own work. So I was especially motivated by the opportunity to deepen my engagement with the African peace and security, context, and to clarify and refine my peace building agenda. So the program at Makerere provided for me exactly this opportunity for critical reflection and learning. And since then, my professional work has been significantly shaped by the direction that I defined during the fellowship. The field visits especially, they sharpened my focus and influenced how I design and implement peace building initiatives at the moment.
Thank you, Dr. John. I may have to reduce the number of questions. I had one more for you, but I think I was told that we need to hurry up. So I'm going to go to Jenna Lee. And generally, this really segment is from learning to action. And I know that you've been really translating theory to grassroots impact. And so the first question to you is, how do Peace Fellows translate academic learning into actionable peace building on the ground?
Thanks so much. I firstly just wanted to say it's a great honor to be here today. India is my favorite country, and I lived there for a year. So I'm very excited about the new Peace Center and the start of everything. So we work from a narrative therapy perspective, where we view communities and people as the experts of their own lives. So the first thing is, when translating academics into action, is that people and communities already have extraordinary peace building skills. For example, living in India has really, really shaped my who I am as a peace builder today, the extraordinary peace building skills from living there. And then I think it's really important to implement the practical skills and incorporate that into the academics as well.
Thank you, Janali. And so let me ask you another question, and that, what are some of the common challenges that fellows face in the field, particularly in the, we're talking of a fragile or gender violence context?
So, as mentioned, my background is in psychology and narrative therapy. I have a degree in that, and then masters in peace building. So I always come from a trauma-informed approach. I think a huge challenge is dealing with trauma of living in violent contexts, and then secondary trauma of working in violent contexts. And this is something that peace builders really need a lot of support in, and access to resources.
Thank you, Janali. And I'm going to ask one very quick question to you. I know that your work uses social media and technology for gender-based violence prevention. How can digital storytelling become a peace-building tool rather than a conflict amplifier?
Thanks so much. So I'm the director of Tales of Turning, and what we do is we use social media listening tools to collect data from public social media. So this is a way of deeply listening to thousands and thousands of people's stories and narratives. Also to say, we look at mis and disinformation and hate speech. And very importantly, this is distorting our narratives, the narratives of our communities and living together. So it's a very important thing to look at. Then we do training with peace builders in online and offline peace building. So we've taken the conflict mediation training and adapted it to an online environment. Through these trainings, we also train communities to amplify their work by creating social media content. So we are co-creating new narratives together with communities. So this is a way of using big data, using communities' knowledge and skills. They're doing amazing work on the ground and amplifying this through social media, while also calming negative conversations and mis and disinformation. Through the Rotary Peace Fellowship, we are now doing this in Somalia. We have a global grant in for Lebanon and Syria. And we're also looking at doing work in Turkey and then also India. So it's a really exciting initiative.
Thank you, Janali. I think very, very aptly put. You monitor and make sure that hate speech especially gets really reduced as much as you can. Thank you. Let me now go to shift from practitioner to the Rotary ecosystem. And I'm going to have past Governor Suresh Hari. Hari, what role can Rotary clubs and districts play in identifying and mentoring strong peace fellowship candidates?
See, there are 4 elements I would like to impress on. One is Rotary must shift from passive awareness to active ownership as far as peace is concerned. Identify peace builders early within our communities. We have to look at early options. Assign district responsibility, not leave it to chance. There should be somebody mentored to do this. You should mentor, guide, and sponsor them intentionally. So many times we have to run after sponsorship. We have to do it intentionally and make it happen.
Thank you, Hari. And now let me ask you, we have a lot of peace fellows coming in. Some of our districts are very, very good at that. How can districts better engage peace fellows after graduation to maximize long-term impact?
See, one is we have to make peace fellows our long-term Rotary asset. That is the first important aspect of our existence. Integrate them as advisors. They can be trainers or even project leaders, any of these options. Offer meaningful engagement to them, because we have to, unless give them an opportunity to be properly engaged, it's not going to work out. Not just a mere symbolic association. Then strengthen them with Rotary expertise. These are the elements that will make them involved and actively be a peace scholar continuing lifelong.
Thank you, Hari. I'm going to shift from you because I think we've got time constraints. I'm going to go to Professor Kishu Daswani. Professor Daswani, this is related to academia, law, and institutional partnerships. And I know that you bring academic legitimacy and you have a youth pipeline. So from your tremendous experience, from a legal education perspective, how can universities embed conflict prevention and peace studies into mainstream curricula?
Right. Thank you, Mr. Vanmati. So to start with, alternate dispute resolution or understanding mediation, conciliation, negotiation is a part of the law education program in a very big way. Now, but rather than, I feel, instead of having a standalone program to teach you these skills, it is important to incorporate them into the substantive law. So when somebody is studying Indian Succession Act, maybe, you got to tell them that how can I really resolve a succession dispute rather than do it the legal way? Because a lawyer just wants to read the section, he wants to take a judgment, and he wants to say, hey, I'm right, this is what I want. So the lawyer should be asking a different kind of question is, what is the conflict? What is the root of the conflict? And resolve it accordingly. So this is wherein I think peace education, conflict education can percolate. And of course, I think the biggest thing that we need in today's generation is a word called empathy. And maybe ethics, and this, I think, is not restricted to legal education. So I do feel interest-based bargaining, a concept of human rights, options, positions, interests, etc., can be taught in almost all universities. A couple of other points. I think peace education has become very difficult in today's world because we have forgotten international law. I mean, as we are talking and we're having this discussion, there's genocide happening. One president gets picked up from his country and gets taken away. You have the biggest armada, collected in the Middle East since 1980. And, the big question is, what is the United Nations doing? So that the international rule and the international norms have just gone for a toss. And I think that is very important to communicate even to the common man, that chaos is not the rule. There are certain, important things that we need to look at beyond what we are seeing in our breaking news, if I may say. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Daswani. I think very well put, and you've raised a lot of international relations questions. But let me go on to the next question quickly. How do peace centers collaborate with districts, clubs, and civil society to extend peace efforts beyond academia? And I'm going to request you to please keep that answer.
Yes, I'll keep it short. You see, if there's no problem, don't fix it. I think peace centers are doing beautifully. I really want to tell you, and I'm speaking from a large amount of experience here. I have trained 500 peace fellows at Chula, and I know how each one of them are doing a phenomenal job. In fact, right now we can see what Sokpa is doing, what Jenali is doing, what Mr. Jalota is doing. They are peace fellows who are going beyond the social change initiative, and I think they are doing wonderfully. So I think once a peace fellow, you get the psyche of peace, always a peace fellow. So I think the Rotary is doing a phenomenal job. And I just want to close by telling you, I have been in other peace programs. I've seen how they are run. The Rotary peace programs is easily amongst the best in the world. Honest.
Thank you. That was a great voice of acclamation and support for the peace centers. Thank you very much, Professor Daswani. So I wish I had more time. And I don't know, Karthik, do I have another 5 minutes?
No problem, sir. You can take some time.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question to Professor Daswani. And I'd like to ask this of all four of our panelists, a very quick answer. What is the one innovation that Rotary Peace Centers must adopt in the next decade to stay relevant? Professor Daswani, you can begin.
Okay, a quick one here. Having had experience with the peace program, especially the 13-week peace program, I think one of the key things I learned and everybody learned is from their cohort. We learned from our teachers, our facilitators, yes, but we learned 10 times more from our groups. So one of the things we can do is the social change initiative that every peace center is sending out. They could have a twinning program with somebody from another country. And if there's permission, so if I'm doing a social change initiative in India and there's somebody doing a social change initiative, say in Sri Lanka or in Cambodia, within that 10-month program, I could visit him or he could visit me, and we could learn from each other. So we learn each other's countries, cultures, etc., plus learn how we resolve problems. So the twinning program, if logistics, etc., permitting, could be a great idea, according to me.
Thank you very much. And I'm not going to ask the same question to all of you. I want to now switch to generally. I'm going to ask you another question. Again, a very brief answer requested. How important is flexible funding for innovation in such initiatives?
It's absolutely crucial. So as we know, for peace building, we really need to understand the needs of the community and the root causes of the conflict. And that really comes into positive peace. So it's really important, obviously, to have a very structured idea of what you're doing, your objectives, the outcomes, how you're going to measure these. But the flexibility is also important as you working and implementing the project and the work, and you unearthing more of the needs and in a lot of the conflict areas, things are shifting and tensions are shifting very quickly. It's very important to also incorporate flexibility to adapt to the changing context on the ground.
Thank you. Thank you, Janali. And to you, Dr. Sofka John, you have really worked on the field. And what lessons from Africa's mediation ecosystems can be adopted globally?
The first for me would be that legitimacy comes from relationships, not simply from mandates. That is extremely important. Secondly, hybrid and flexible models always outperform purely formal approaches. And finally, mediation is an adaptive process that assumes that conflicts will always come back, not a single agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sophajon. And now, Hari, my last question to you. How can peace building be integrated into regular Rotary Club service projects, not treated as standalone vertical?
It should be a guiding principle, first of all. And every project must promote inclusion and understanding. Service must strengthen harmony, dignity, and trust. Peace becomes Rotary natural outcome. Peace must be embedded in everything Rotary does, not treated separately. This is the only way we can move forward.
Thank you, Hari. And let me close with a very brief message. And I want to thank all our distinguished panelists for those powerful insights. Thank you to each of you. And to me, what stands out from today's discussion are a few clear messages. One, peace building is both local and global. Two, technology is reshaping how conflicts emerge and how they can be resolved. Third, Rotary Peace Fellows are translating academic rigor into grassroots transformation. Fourth, sustainable peace requires sustained funding, institutional partnerships, and district ownership. And finally, most importantly, peace is not an abstract ideal, it is daily practical work. As Professor Daswani said, it is hard work, it is heart work. And I'm just repeating what you said, Professor. Very well put. So Rotary's Peace Centers represent one of the world's most significant privately funded peace education initiatives. But their true strength lies in people, its fellows, its donors, the Rotarians, and partners working together across borders. And as we conclude, let us remember, peace is not built in conferences alone. It is built in classrooms, courtrooms, communities, and conversations like this. Thank you all for joining us and for your commitment to making peace in action a living reality. Thank you.
Thank you, past Trustee Gulamji, for your nice moderation. And you have also covered all the points on what we have. And I also thank Scofa John Lee, Daswani, and Suresh Hari for your inputs regarding the Peace Center and what would be and about your ideas about the Peace Fellows in a different area of focus in Rotary. Thank you so much for your participation, and thank you once again, moderator, past Trustee Gulamji, for your nice moderation. Thank you so much. Next is question and session. Question and answer session. It goes to the administrative. Please unmute. If anybody want to ask any question, please raise your hands so that they will unmute and you can ask the questions.
I think,
yes, sir.
Sanjay, I will request you to put your, we are a couple of minutes already over time. So,
yes, sir.
You can accommodate, but otherwise, I think, why don't you put your email ID, Sanjay, there, and people can write a mail to you and the MGOs can answer their questions, because we have to respect everybody's time and other commitments that people may be having actually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are beyond the time, 3 minutes, so that
Sanjay, instead of asking everybody, all EMGs to put MGOs to put their email, I request you to put your email ID and people can send their questions to you and it can be replied on one-to-one basis.
I've just put my email ID on the
Please
chat
do
box.
that. So friends, I think Sanjay is the one to whom you can write and ask any questions, whether they are technical or of any other nature. If there are some questions which you want our panelists, Sanjay will send them to the panelists and you will have an answer from our panelists also. Panelists means all those who have been participating in today's program.
Including the speakers.
Yeah. Specific questions, if you have, they will all answer you by email.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Trustee, for your thing. And I request our EMGA Samova to give a vote of thanks for this session.
Thank you, Karthik. What an extraordinary program that we have witnessed this evening. thank you, all of you who have put in time to put together the panelists, the moderator, the faculty here. But then let me also quickly thank Past Governor Ellison Sutherland for highlighting the cadre advisors, the TRF humanitarian cadre advisor role in the peace programs and the peace projects. Certainly, Professor Alper SCV from BAU and Dr. Sulakshana Sen from SIU, our partners. Certainly, Professor SCV for allowing us a peep into the lives of a few cohorts of our peace fellows at BAU, and they're working in the very critical MENA region. And Dr. Sulakshana Sen, we look forward to great enthusiasm to the future association with your great alma mater that we are partnering. And Mr. Gelota, our Peace Fellow, thank you for allowing us a brief look into how our time at Duke and University of North Carolina campus had uh, had been brought upon to bear on the good governance decisions that you ultimately took in your work with the government. That was a great lesson that we have learned from you. And to this extraordinarily erudite panel that Pastor Sri Ghulam Mahanwati had moderated with such finish. Thank you, Ghulam, for great skill of your moderation that we have witnessed today, and certainly to all the four very eminent panelists. Okay, I hope I'm getting the names right, but Dr. Sofka John, Jana Lee Strugel, and Professor Daswani, and of course Philiji Suresh. Thank you so much for throwing such great light into the facets of peacekeeping, peacemaking, peace brokering, whatever that Ghulam had thrown at you. And we wish we had more time to hear from all of you. But thank you for your participation. Thank you, the staff of Rotary International offices, for putting together this program. And finally, to Dr. Bharat Pandya, our trustee of the Rotary Foundation, whose 4-year tenure as a trustee of the Rotary Foundation will be coming to a close very soon. But among the great highlights of his tenure would be the opening of the Peace Center in Pune, and we are also delighted with your leadership, Dr. Pandya. Thank you for that, and thank you for your message at the beginning of this event. Thank you, all of you. Have a great day and have a great evening.
Thank you, Sam, for your very nice. Thanks. Thank you. And we also thank the Rotary staffs, Sanjay Palmar, Tapoji, Jagati, and Ravis for organizing this event wonderfully and circulating the things. And as our trustee was saying, that all these informations and recorded message you will be receiving in the mail. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.